Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of SauvBlancTV. And in this installment, we are talking to my friend Jeff Keene, who is the winemaker at Cornerstone Cellars in the Napa Valley. And Jeff has the distinct honor of being our first repeat guest on SauvBlancTV. I think he was on the inaugural or second episode that we did a while back. So welcome, Jeff. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Brian. I really appreciate being here, and you know, SauvBlancTV is my favorite station to watch.
Exactly, and I'm not sure on what cable channel you can find it, but it's out there somewhere, flying through the Ethernet or internet or interweb. So anyway, what we're up to today is we're featuring, as everybody may know already, Napa's other Sauvignon, and Sauvignon Blanc, of course, not Cabernet Sauvignon. And Jeff is the winemaker, as I mentioned, at Cornerstone Cellars, which is a fantastic winery there in the Napa Valley in Yountville. And we're just going to talk a little bit about Napa Valley Sauv Blanc. Jeff, how's it going? How does it look this year so far?
You know, in one word, fantastic. For our Sauvignon Blanc vineyard, you know, showing in terms of quality and quantity, it's looking similar to 2013 in so many ways. Yes, you know, Napa's been going through a drought, and you know, obviously very limited water supplies. But this vineyard that we have, which is just south of St. Helena, is just you know, performing amazingly. It has been a little bit warm lately. I would like it to cool down a little bit. You know, sugars are sort of, you know, I'm about 90 to almost through veraison, 90% to almost through veraison at the moment. But you know, I just would like to, you know, just have a little bit of cooler weather there so sugars and flavors can develop at the same rate.
Got it. But so, Jeff, some people may know this already from when we chatted last time. Where are you from, and how did you find yourself there at Cornerstone Cellars?
Well, I'm originally from New Zealand, so I guess I have Sauvignon Blanc flowing through my veins a bit there. So, so I've been out in the Napa Valley making wine for 16 years. I actually trained in New Zealand, went to university for viticulture and enology in New Zealand, but came out to the Napa Valley after a couple of harvests in New Zealand, and actually have done all my practical winemaking in Napa.
Great. Okay, and excellent. So how many cases a year do you guys make at Cornerstone Cellars, and about how many cases of Sauvignon Blanc do you do?
So we, and our total production is 10,000 cases, and the other Sauvignon, Cabernet Sauvignon, is our main variety we work with there. But we do 1,000 cases of Napa Valley Sauvignon Blanc.
Excellent. So, and one of the things I always like to ask is, you know, there's such a variety of style of Sauvignon Blanc, of course, globally in California and certainly within the Napa Valley as well. What is it that you're looking? You make a great one, and what is it that you're looking to accomplish? How do you go about it? I know you do some things differently than a lot of people do.
Well, definitely. I mean, as people know, Sauvignon Blanc typically is a very clean, crisp, you know, very flashy style of wine. You know, very everyday drinking wine. For Cornerstone Cellars, and for me personally, I wanted to make a Sauvignon Blanc that was going to go into our reserve label. So I really wanted to emphasize more reserve qualities of Sauvignon Blanc. So my focus on the wine itself was not really on the aromatics. I mean, Sauvignon Blanc is a naturally aromatic, flavorful grape, and in turn wine. But for me, I really wanted to focus on the mouthfeel and the presence and the texture in the mouth, just to get that more reserve quality. So for me, it's I'm doing a stainless steel fermentation, very slow, very cool. You know, I'd like to have a very long, drawn-out fermentation. I can go up to 6 to 8 weeks for fermentation. I really want to hold in the aromatics and flavors and not to get those cooked away in the fermentation. And then once it's, oh, sorry, go ahead, Brian.
No, continue. Thank you.
And then once it's fermented to dryness, then I put it down to 1 and 2 year old used French oak barrels. And for 5 months, for 2 weeks, every 5 months, it's surly aged or stirred. The lees are stirred every 2 weeks for 5 months. So really building up that mouthfeel, that presence, and that texture and the length. Yeah, so just having more of that palate presence, but still keeping the those tropical, almost stone fruit notes and aromas and flavors, and also that citrus zestiness coming through, but also a nice clean finish as well.
Great. So, and currently, you guys are on your 2012 or 2011 vintage? Which is available at the moment?
Well, this is actually the other exciting thing about our Sauvignon Blanc, is that our current release is actually 2011. We're just about to move into the 2012, but we actually do that on purpose. Actually, hold it back because we really want to give the wine more bottle age. And so when the cork is actually popped on the bottle, it's actually expressing itself fully from before it went into bottle. And that's really important to me. And the other thing is that actually another interesting aspect of our Sauvignon Blanc is actually recently we actually did a flight of our 2009, 2010, and 2011 Sauvignon Blancs. And it's kind of unusual to actually do a flight of New World Sauvignon Blancs. But it's amazing to see the aging characteristics of these wines, showing that even the 2009 was still showing its vibrancy and freshness, at this stage in its life. So I think it really emphasizes, obviously I can only say with our wine, sort of the aging capabilities that this Sauvignon Blanc has.
I was when you mentioned doing the vertical, I was pretty jealous because a couple of the wine writers that work with us here at Summertime in a Glass got their hands on some, and they were raving about how great it was. Are there any of those left, Jeff, for me?
Yeah, we actually have kept some, just a few bottles, I think maybe a couple of cases in stock of the 09, 10, and 11. Obviously, we're still on the 11, but just keeping the 09 and 10. And we will make more of a conscious effort to actually hold it a little bit back in future vintages. Because, as I said, it's not something you naturally do with Sauvignon Blanc. But I feel that our vineyard and the way that we're making it kind of lends itself to having that ageability on it too.
The operative term in there, of course, was for me. So just looking out for my own personal best interest. But thanks for holding on to some. Hey, Jeff, I wanted to ask you a question too, because we were talking about aromatics, and I don't want to get too technical here in the chat, but you guys, one of the most common clone of Sauvignon Blanc, or variation, if we want to call it that, of Sauvignon Blanc in California is known typically as Clone 1, and that's the vast majority of what people use. But I know that you guys have a little bit more going on in there, including one of our favorites, the Sauvignon Muscat clone. Can you talk a little bit about that in the vineyard and what that does to your wine?
Definitely. Well, just going back to the vineyard, the vineyard we have in St. Helena is actually a mix of Clone 1 and the Muscat clone, and they're sort of randomly, intermittently dispersed throughout the vineyard. Another great aspect of this vineyard, and I will go back to the clones, is that this vineyard is actually it is organic and it is dry farmed as well. So the vines, the root system of this is a very deep root system. And the vines are, constantly under this almost like a semi-stressed state as well. So it really intensifies the flavors of the berries on the vine. They're having to put so much more effort into, ripening, the fruit on the vine, which is it just gives us so much intensely more flavored juice as well. But yeah, again, back to the clones that we have. So. I couldn't even tell you the breakdown of the percentage of the Clone 1 to Muscat within the vineyard. Is so interspersed. But, the Clone 1 for us does give some of that, a little bit of that sort of more grassy, sort of dry hay-like and going on to tropical. But then that Muscat clone, very special clone, very highly aromatic, highly flavorful, really emphasizes the, that tropical, stone fruit characteristics of the Sauvignon Blanc. And, it's an amazing vineyard to work with because the two clones actually ripen up at different speeds as well. So I'll go through and do my sampling, and I actually sample the whole vineyard, so I get a better idea of the flavor characteristics that are coming through, so I can just judge that sort of optimal picking time.
Great. It does. I really like the Sauvignon Muscat clone and what you guys get from that. I think it adds a certain element of complexity or a different dimension to the Sauvignon Blanc, and I think that's a really great thing. Well, and Jeff, let me ask you this, because we touched a little bit at the beginning of the conversation on 2014 and how things are going. In light of what we're doing here, looking at Napa Valley Sauvignon Blanc for the week and beyond, how do you feel about Sauvignon Blanc in Napa Valley? Like, what's its role? Maybe where do you think it's going? I know it's an important grape to you and to Cornerstone Cellars, but maybe in a broader sense of the region, how do you feel about it?
I think it's if you look at the whole just that whole model of looking at Cabernet is king in the Napa Valley, but that pairs very well with having Sauvignon Blanc as well. I think those two go hand in hand very well. And I think for Sauvignon Blanc in the Napa Valley, obviously there's different styles that are made from going from your cooler climate Carneros, Oak and Knoll District, all the way up to St. Helena, up to Calistoga. You're going to get these different flavor and aroma characteristics and different styles of Sauvignon Blanc coming through. I think, for me, Sauvignon Blanc is a special grape, and especially in Napa, because it does have those different styles and different characteristics. And, having the consumer get out there and just be adventurous and trying these different styles from the different appellations in Napa, you just get so many different flavor profiles coming through, from your, herbaceous to, up to your tropical to your stone fruit, and then adding in there with your the citrus as well. It's just it's an exciting grape to work with. I just love working with those aromatic whites. Excellent.
Well, since we built everybody's enthusiasm about Sauvignon Blanc in Napa and at Cornerstone Cellars, can you tell people where they can find you online, where they can come pay you guys a visit in the tasting room and all that good stuff?
Certainly, definitely. Sort of I'll get some shameless advertising in here too.
Please. There we go.
There it is. Let's see if that comes through. There it is. There's the label. Yeah. So Cornerstone Cellars, we have our tasting room right smack dab in the middle of the town of Yountville. If you're driving through Yountville on Washington Street and you see the post office, looks directly across the road, and there is the Cornerstone Cellars tasting room. Great people in here would love to take care of you guys. And then our website, www.cornerstonecellars.com. Please visit us. We'd love to see you here.
Excellent. Hey, Jeff, thanks again. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to chat with us, and always a pleasure to see you virtually or in person. So, Jeff, thanks a lot for joining SauvBlancTV again today.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Brian, and yeah, go Sauvignon Blanc.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.